Hi, and welcome to the video series on lead generation. In this particular video series, we're going to focus on generating leads in specific niches and how you can generate high converting qualified leads that both offline and online businesses need and will be willing to pay top dollar for. Now, I do want to mention this. Before you get started, you need the drive to want to make more money. So, if that means that you must come out of your comfort zone and call somebody up, call a local business up, call an online business, call somebody, walk through the doors of an offline business and talk directly to them, then you want to do that. Now, I will say that lead generation is very lucrative and very profitable. However, you need to be able to jump out of your comfort zone. So I wanted to mention that before we dive in. Now, I want to give you a brief overview of what we're going to talk about in this specific video series. This specific video series is split up into 6 sub videos or 6 parts. The first video will be this specific video. I'm going to give you a brief introduction, which I'm doing right now. And then I'll talk about how the system works. Basically the concepts, what you need to understand, what you need to have before you actually find businesses to approach and you set up the system. The second video will be about finding businesses that will be willing to pay top dollar for your leads, thereby removing the middleman. So you're the direct person that the businesses will be communicating with, and you will be selling leads directly to them. Video 3 will be about understanding how to set up this system. Now, video 1 and 2 prepare you for video 3. As you can see, they're cumulative. Video 1 allows you to understand the whole system. Video 2 allows you to find the businesses. Once you have found the business that you're dealing with, then you can set up the system. You can set up your squeeze page so you can begin to drive leads to that squeeze page, generate whatever lead, whether it's a prospective lead or a customer-based lead. And all of this will begin to make more sense when you actually view the specific video. Video 4 will be about how to get local leads. If you're dealing with an offline business, then you're going to be dealing with local leads. And we're going to be talking about Google AdWords, pay-per-click marketing. In specifics, Google AdWords has a feature called region targeting feature, which allows you to specifically target local leads. Video 4 will be talking about local leads. You can use Craigslist to find local leads. You can find market-specific leads with Craigslist as well. But in this particular video, I will be focusing on local leads. Video 6, how to get market-specific leads. Now, the reason why I focus on market-specific leads in this video for eBay classified ads is because eBay classified ads is more or less a general thing. So when I say general, you can't really focus specifically on a specific local market. For example, if I only wanted to target, South Carolina or North Carolina or Georgia areas, then I couldn't really do that because it's too general. However, if your goal is to specifically do only offline businesses, then video 4 and 5 would probably be your best bet. But if you are doing both online and offline businesses, let's say, for example, an offline business had an online component, whereas they are reaching out to the global market. Maybe they run a video production business. They do videos for people, and they want to reach a global market. Maybe you're a freelancer, you're doing software development, you're writing ebooks, things like that, and you're targeting these types of people. Then these types of people can utilize both online leads and offline leads. It doesn't have to be specific within that local area. So as you can see, videos 1, 2, and 3 are definite watch. But if you're only going to focus on online leads, then maybe video 6 is best for you. But you have to see it as video 4 and 5 can also be good for online leads if those local leads are willing to purchase from an online person. Because some of these local leads don't want to purchase from an online business and don't want to reach a global market. So you have to think through all these processes in video 1, which I will show you in just a minute. Alright, so let's get started with video 1. I just showed you the introduction, and now I want to talk about the concepts, how this system works. Understanding how the system works before you actually implement the system is very, very important. Sort of like your platform and your base. Once you get over this little platform, then you can begin to implement the system. So how does the system work? Well, basically the system works as this. You figure out your system first. You figure out what you want to do. Do you want to focus primarily on offline businesses or primarily on online businesses? And that's the question that you want to ask yourself, because a lot of people tend to want to do everything. They want to do everything. And what happens is if you want to do everything, then you end up not making any money. And there's a lot of people that float on the internet that are looking to do everything. And I talked to my friend the other day. I was at lunch, and a lot of industries, whether it's internet marketing, any specific industries, a lot of people want to get in there and make a lot of money. And they want to focus on every single thing in that niche. And that's why I specifically say niche, because you want to get into a specific niche. You've got a general market, you've got a specific niche, so you want to focus on that specific niche. So let's say, for example, I only want to deal with offline businesses. So video 4 and 5 would be great for me. If that offline businesses wanted to deal with, online consumers, then maybe video 6 would come into play. So let's get started with the 5-step system, because we do have a little more to talk about this in this particular video. Step 1 is going to be about what kind of business that you want to sell your leads to, whether it's an offline business or an online business. I would highly recommend, just like I said earlier, pick and choose, offline or online. Because yeah, you can approach online businesses later, but if you're doing offline, try to focus on offline, and then if you're doing online, just focus on the online. Try to do something first. Once you've gotten over the hump and done offline businesses and it starts to work, maybe then you can create another system and do it on online. And we'll talk more about that in video 2 on how to find offline businesses by using Google Local and Yahoo Local to find these businesses. Step 2 is about doing your research. Once you know what kind of offline or online business to approach, then you can do your research. You can brainstorm. Once you've done your brainstorming, you can do market research, keyword research, and find out whether it's profitable or not to continue. A lot of people make the mistake of skipping the step. They think of a product that they want to sell, they make the product, and then they market it. That's a big, big mistake. If you don't do your brainstorming, you don't do your market research, and you don't do your keyword research, then you don't know if it's going to be profitable or not. Step 3 is what type of lead you want to attract. And I'll dive a little more detail in these specific videos, whether it's a prospect or customer lead. Right now you might be thinking, well, what difference does it make? A lead is lead. Well, there are different types of leads. Some leads will convert higher than other leads, And because you know that, when you approach these offline businesses, you can say, hey, this lead is going to convert higher. I'm going to charge you 20 bucks or 30 bucks or 40 bucks or more, depending on, maybe the lifetime value of a specific lead. We'll talk more about that in step 3. Step 4 is to develop your squeeze page. So once you've gone through step 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3, now is the time to develop your squeeze page. And of course, step 5 is to test that squeeze page and start driving traffic to that squeeze page, which then we talk about in videos 4, 5, and 6. So let's get started. Let's talk about the steps in specific. As you remember, step 1 is what kind of business do you want to sell your leads to, offline or online? If you are going to focus on offline leads, then we're going to use Google Local or Yahoo Local to find or how many there are. And you might be thinking, well, why would I really want to know how many businesses there are in that specific niche? If you're looking at businesses in general niches, there are probably going to be a lot more, specifically like consulting. People that provide services or people that provide consulting services are a great niche to get into, because a lot of these people, they may not necessarily have a storefront, but they do have a service which they can provide and sell to these people on an ongoing basis. So these people tend to realize that getting leads is very important. Or somebody that might provide a service. You might have a local business that provides websites. These people understand that local leads are important, but they might have an online component as well. So they're open to both local leads and leads that come offline. Now, the offline businesses that specifically focus on the offline and local market are a good market as well, because most likely they're not doing a lot of marketing, they're not doing a lot of online marketing, so you have an edge there. Now, I do want to say this, businesses in general niches versus businesses in specific niches. Businesses in specific niches understand how important their leads are, because if you can have somebody in a specific niche, most likely they are going to have a higher conversion rate. So keeping that in mind, businesses in specific niches may be willing to pay you a lot more money for a specific lead. All right, so step 2 is about doing your research. First, you need to brainstorm, which you'll need your brain, a pen and a paper. And you want to brainstorm about maybe taking a general market and breaking it down and seeing what kind of keywords people are typing in. And that's where we come to market research. Is the market there? Is there a market? If there's no market for it online, then, and not a heavy market, then maybe you need to move on to a different niche. And the whole point of this exercise is to figure out, is there a market? You do your keyword research. Is that market actively searching for that area? Is that market specifically searching for a product? That's why I say specific niches. If you can find an offline business that does provide a specific niche, and you can find these people, then you could even sell to these people and create what we call customer-based leads. These people will be maybe purchasing a product, and you can approach the offline business and say, these are leads that recently purchased a product. These are not leads that just filled out a form, because you've got a lot of companies that are paying 20, 30, 40 bucks just for somebody that fills out a form. If you can get 10 or 20 bucks for that, then for somebody that actually purchases maybe a product or gets a free CD and makes a first transaction, a money transaction, then you've got yourself a higher converting and more qualified lead. And in this case, you can sell them for 40, 50 bucks or 30, 40, 50 bucks. And of course, you got to negotiate with that specific offline business. If you find 10 or 20 offline businesses, then you can tell that offline business that. You can say, hey, I'm selling leads to so-and-so for 20 bucks. And I'm willing to give you leads, for 20, 30 bucks. And most likely they're going to think, oh, okay, well, definitely. Or they might be thinking, well, I want brand new leads. Give me a brand new, fresh leads for a little more money. So you could negotiate. And you want to lay out your terms and your service and your conditions before you actually approach these businesses. And that brings us to keyword research. Keyword research, we're going to use the Word Tracker free tool and SpyFu, which allows you to see whether or not there's a market out there that is actively searching on Google or on Yahoo for a specific keyword. Step 3, we're going to talk about what type of lead you want to attract, whether it's a prospect lead or a customer-based lead. Previously, I did talk to you about these two types of leads. Remember, you want a lead that can take a specific action. Well, the question is why? Well, a specific action equals a higher conversion. If somebody takes a specific action, whether that means a prospect lead, a freebie lead, they fill out a form, or they fill out 100 questionnaires just to get into a site. Think about dating sites. Online dating sites are notorious to pay for somebody to generate leads, especially because specific lead is looking to fill out 100 questions to find out their personality profile and maybe find somebody through that avenue. So that specific prospect can eventually lead to a buyer. So that equals a higher conversion rate. Then we've got a customer-based lead. This type of lead will buy a product. Let's say you offer a product up front for $7. Or you use the free CD method, which you say, hey, here's a free CD, but you have to pay shipping and handling. If they buy into this, then you know that they are going to convert at a higher rate because they are getting a free CD, but they're paying for shipping. So they're willing to whip out their wallet in order to pay for shipping. And that tells you right there and then that they are a customer-based lead. Prospect leads, you can charge them at a certain rate. Customer-based leads are at a higher rate. So you could even think about this. Maybe you could think about having your own funnel, building your own list, but offering a specific product that the offline business or online business has and use it as an upsell. And you could do something like an affiliate program. So there's so many types of ideas and methods that you can use to make money from leads. But in this specific video series, we're going to focus specifically on selling the lead to the offline business or to the online business. And that brings us to step 4, developing your squeeze page. The question that you might have is, well, what tools do I need before I actually move on to the other videos? Well, you're going to need to have a WYSIWYG editor. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. You can use Dreamweaver or NVU. Dreamweaver is a paid editor or HTML editor tool that you're going to have to pay for. NVU, on the other hand, is free. So if you go to Google and just type in NVU or download NVU, you'll find the NVU editor. Then you're going to need an autoresponder to have people fill out a form and get on your list. So you can get their data, you can get their first name, last name, email address, or whatever other form data that you need to acquire. Maybe you need to acquire their address. You can do all that through using an autoresponder. In this example, in this video series, we're going to use Aweber autoresponder. That's Aweber, and we'll talk about that in the future videos. Then you need web hosting to host your website. Then you need a payment processor, which is optional. If you go the free CD route, or the route where you have the lead purchase a specific product because you want to weed out all the other leads, then you're going to need a payment processor. In this case, I'm going to use PayPal. Then Kunaki, if you use a free CD route, you're going to need a system where a service produces the CDs for you and then ships out the CD. You don't want to be producing the CDs for yourself, because if you do that, it's very, very time consuming. Your job here is to generate the leads and sell them. That's it. All the other types of services need to be provided by a third party, because you want to spend the least amount of time and make the most money. And that leaves us step 5, which is testing your system and start driving traffic to your landing page, which is where videos 4, 5, and 6 come into play. Video 4 is Google AdWords region targeting. Video 4 is Craigslist. And video 6 is eBay classified ads. Now you know how the system works. Let's talk about researching your niche, finding your niche, and then of course finding businesses that you can sell leads to. The first thing we want to figure out is what niche you are going to go into. That's the most important thing you need to figure out. Which specific businesses will you be selling these specific niche-based leads to? Then, of course, we'll do some research. We'll brainstorm a little bit. We'll do some market research, keyword research, and profitability research to make sure that the niche that we are going to go into is indeed profitable. If it is not profitable, really there's no point in going into it. And of course, C, we'll search for businesses. Once we find the niche, once we have done the proper research, which is important, then we can go out and find businesses that we can sell leads to. But we need to follow this step-by-step specific process from A, B, and C in order to do everything correctly. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is talk about niches. What niche will you be focusing on? Well, we need to target a specific niche. So the question is, what kind of business do you want to sell your leads to? This is what you need to figure out. You need to figure out whether you're going to sell it specifically only to offline businesses or only to online businesses. I know you might have the temptation to choose both offline and online, but don't. And the reason why I say don't is because you need to focus on one or the other. If you try to focus on both, then it gets too general, and then you won't succeed as much as you would if you just picked one. So with that in mind, in this specific video series, I'm going to just choose offline. It's okay if the offline business has an online component, whereas they are selling some sort of info product, some sort of thing that they can sell to the global market. But most likely not. They most likely are just going to be an offline business selling to the local market. So that's what I'm going to focus on in this particular video series. If you just choose to sell to online businesses, that's fine. But keep in mind that you need to plan out your route and plan out sort of like your business plan right now. And that's what we're doing. So we'll choose offline. Now that you know if you're doing offline or online, you need to figure out what niche it's going to be. So you can use Google. Here are some ideas that will allow you to figure out what kind of business you want to target. One thing I found is if you go to Google and you search for quotes, you might find a lot of things like services, insurance companies, credit report companies. Companies that have services are great. Recurring services, consultant services, services that cost a good amount of money. Services, maybe lawyer services, which can be a little tricky there, but services are great because you know that these types of people have an ongoing service. They're not just selling, tires and that's it. They're selling an ongoing service that is continuing because they sell it once, then they have back-end products and ongoing products, recurring products. So these types of companies generally will value your types of leads. So if you find a good company that is willing to pay $10, $20, $30, or even $40 for a specific lead, then great. Now, you got to remember these leads must convert. So when I say lead, I'm not just thinking about a whole list of leads. You have to prove to a lot of these companies whether or not your leads are going to convert. So you can show them your system. You don't have to show them exactly how your system works, otherwise they can probably copy it. But it's necessary. You might even give them 10 free quotes. Check it out. Because if these services realize that your service, your lead generation service is great, and your leads actually convert, you're going to stand out because a lot of lead generation services act on high volume. They don't give 10 or 20 quotes here and there. They usually give businesses 10,000 leads and only 3 or 4 leads will actually convert. So that's what your goal here is. Stand out. Make sure that your leads are converting and are highly qualified leads. We'll get into more detail on how to find those high quality leads. For example, leads that convert are generally ones that take a specific action or that purchased a product just recently. You might ask yourself, what may be highly sought out in your area? What are services? What are consultant services? What are, places that offer ongoing services? Or what are hobbies that people enjoy that they constantly invest money into? Well, in this video series, I chose golf because I live in South Carolina and there's a lot of golf clubs around South Carolina. So the choice is golf in South Carolina, USA, which is my local area. And we're going to choose golf because golf, anywhere I turn, I see a golf course. So I know that they get a lot of people coming to the course. But what I want to do is probably find a specific niche within the golf arena. So that's what we're going to try to do. Maybe we'll look at golf clubs, or maybe we'll look at golf stores. Because I know for a fact, a lot of my friends play golf. I don't play golf, but a lot of my friends do. And keep in mind that you don't have to be a golfer to, or a specific, know in that area, or have an interest in that area in order to sell leads to that companies. It might help because sometimes maybe you're a golfer and maybe you buy golf clubs. So sometimes these businesses, if you approach them, they might be a lot more interested if you do buy their golf clubs. And I do want to say this. One tip and one secret is this. A lot of businesses, it's hard for them to turn away a customer. So if you buy something from them, most likely they are going to be interested in what you have to say. If you're coming out, you're not a buyer, and you just want to sell leads to them, of course they're going to be interested too. I mean, because that's the lifeblood of their business. Okay, so with that said, let's move on. Let's talk about research. Research is very important. It tells you whether the niche you're going into is going to be profitable or not. If you do the proper research and you find out that it's not profitable, then you don't have to invest a lot of time into it. The first thing we want to do is brainstorm. I would recommend you getting a piece of paper and a pen, going somewhere other than the internet. This is the only time that I would recommend you actually go and use your brain. So sit in your corner, figure out, brainstorm, what kind of niches are in golfing? What kind of sub niches? Well, we have country clubs, we've got golf courses, we've got golf stores, and we have a few other things specifically in golf. Now that you have done your brainstorming, you can actually go back online and use Google Trends. And then you can use your keyword research. Do your research for keywords. We're going to use the Word Tracker free tool, the keyword tool, and then we're going to use SpyFu, which is the free version as well. So all of these tools are free. With that said, let's go do some research. So the first tool that we're going to use is going to be Google Trends, and you can get there by going to www.google.com/trends. Now, the reason why we're going to use Google Trends Labs is because it allows you to see in your specific local area whether or not something is going to be profitable or worth going after or not. Now, in this case, I'm going to search for golf, and I'm just going to keep it as a general keyword. I'm not going to specifically search for a specific keyword term. Now, once you have entered your keyword here, what you can do is choose a region. Because right now we're pretty much on all regions, so it's searching the whole world. We don't want the whole world. I just want Columbia, South Carolina, or South Carolina in general. So what I want to do is choose United States of America, or whatever location you're at. You just choose your country first. Now that I'm in the United States, I can choose a sub-region. And as you can see here, if I want to go online and I want to sell, to other places, I can do that. One thing you'll notice is on the United States of America, the nice thing is that South Carolina is the third sub-region that has a lot of searches. It just happens to be in the culture down here that a lot of people around here play golf and they are addicted to golf. A lot of my friends are addicted to golf. So it's nice to see that South Carolina is on the third region. So if I wanted, I could just click here, but I'm just going to go up here just to show you the proper way to find it. Is if the sub-region here, all I have to do is scroll down and choose South Carolina. Now this gives me a little more detail about the search volume. And I can also see some news as well here, but I'm going to ignore the news. My whole goal is just to see the search volume as well as the location. So the highest cities within South Carolina is North Myrtle Beach. They have a lot of golf courses there. Pawleys Island, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, and these are all on the eastern side of the South Carolina. And then we have Springfield, South Carolina, Conway, Greenwood, and Irmo. So what I want to do is probably choose a location that's closer to me, one of these. And then now that I have a good idea that, okay, golf is a good niche, and that South Carolina is ranked number 3 in the whole nation, that's a good sign for me and for any lead generation services that are out there. So that's the searches there. I can go to websites. There's no websites, so that tells me, okay, it's a good sign. My goal here is to find offline businesses that might not have, a lot of time to invest into their marketing, and they need somebody else maybe to find leads for them. So if you're watching this video and you are trying to find leads, you can use these same techniques to find leads. Then I can go maybe a little more depth and type in golf courses. I can see that the search changed a little bit. Now, I know I didn't mention this before, but basically whenever somebody types in golf courses, Google will record the location in which they're typing that keyword at. And that's how you get these rankings. So these are online searches because we're using online lead generation. We're generating leads through the online arena, and then we're going to sell these leads to an offline business. So let's say, for example, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I could approach these golf courses on the offline arena, but utilize Google Trends and all these other types of online lead generation methods to sell these leads to these people. Now that you know how to use Google Trends, and we can see that it is obvious that South Carolina's market is great for golf courses, we can use the other two free tools, which is WordTracker and SpyFu. The first thing I'm going to use is WordTracker. If you go to freekeywords.wordtracker.com, as you can see in this video, it'll take you here. So what I'm going to do here is just type in a general keyword. You always want to start out with a general keyword so that you can get specific keywords using this tool. So I'm going to type in golf and start looking. Now, you got to keep in mind that this free keyword tool is only going to show you the top 10 searches only, which is fine. It's not a big deal. WordTracker's actual tool is well worth it as well if you want to do some deeper keyword research. Now, as you can see here, WordTracker has given us specific niches within the golf niche. So if you don't know anything about golf, or you do know a little bit but you don't know a lot, this can really teach you a lot more about golf, because you kind of want to know a little bit about golf before you approach these golf offline businesses. And if it would actually be better if you know a little bit about golf. So as you can see here, every day 3,846 people search the term step-by-step golf swing. They always want to improve their golf swing. Then we have golf clubs. People want to buy golf clubs because they want to improve their distance, their range, things like that. Find out maybe the weaknesses or the problems that golfers face. Watch golf online. Golf carts. Dunlap golf. Use golf clubs, golf tips, golf equipment, and we have other things like that. Generally, searches that, as you can see, as they go down, they get into specific niches. And generally, the more specific it is, the more the keyword is a long tail phrase. Long tail keywords are generally things that are longer, like 3, 4, 5 keywords. Proper way to swing a golf club. You could maybe set up a 10-page report or a specific video. Get some content and then generate some leads. Get some leads by using videos 4, 5, and 6, or 4 and 5 in this specific video series for local leads, and drive traffic to that specific report. And then if somebody opts in to get that report, then you have yourself a prospect lead. Or you could sell that report, and if somebody purchased, you would have a customer-based lead. And then you could sell that lead at a higher price. So now you can actually see how all of this is coming together now that you can see what we're searching for and what kind of businesses we might be searching for. Now that you have done your proper keyword research, you can save these keywords, maybe in Excel spreadsheet. Then you can go to SpyFu. SpyFu tells you whether or not a keyword is profitable or not. For example, if I type in the keyword golf and do a search on SpyFu, what SpyFu will do is it'll go to Google AdWords and it'll find what the average cost per click is. So right now, everybody's paying about 51 cents on average to $1.47 per click. So basically, every time somebody clicks a Google AdWords ad, they have to pay this much for that keyword. And that's why we want to go into specific keywords. And that's the reason why we want to use word trackers to find these specific keywords. For example, like I said earlier, proper way to swing a golf club. Most likely, because there's only 212 searches per day, it's a low amount of searches, but you get a higher conversion. What I do is if I go to google.com and I type in that keyword in quotations, I see that there's only one person here and two people here that are posting their ad on Google AdWords. So that tells me that I don't have to dish out a lot of money. I could even type that in here. I don't know if SpyFu does not have information, but my guess is because there's not a lot of competition, your bid rate is probably only going to be like a few cents here, 10, 20, 30 cents. And that's not bad if you're going to sell each and every one of these leads. Well, of course, these leads got to convert. But if you're offering a free report and somebody typed that in and there's a proper way to swing a golf club, and if they go to your landing page and it says as one of these features, here's a proper way to swing a golf club. If that happens, then think about it. They get that free report. They type that into search. They get that free report. Most likely your opt-in rate is going to be anywhere from 80 or more percent. Now, that's not a guarantee, but that's most likely is what is going to happen because they get it free, or they get a report for maybe you could sell it for $7. And your goal here is not really to make a lot of money on the front end. It's merely to test whether or not that prospect will become a buyer. So if you put them through this whole process that I'm showing you right now, you're going to get leads for less than $1. You sell them for 10, 20 bucks, and your return on investment is going to be a lot greater. So you can see where I'm going here. Now, SpyFu is what we used earlier just to test profitability. We can see that it is indeed profitable. Google Trends was used mainly to figure out whether or not we would want to go into it. So that's good. What I can do is just save these cities here. What I'm going to do is copy, go to Notepad, and paste, and keep that there. And then I want to maybe close that out, and then copy these over to maybe Excel. So I could click that, copy that, and then go to Find Excel. I'm using OpenOffice. And let me show you a cool thing. If I'm here, I'm looking at Excel spreadsheet. Well, it's not really Excel, it's OpenOffice. What I do is click here, click on Edit, click Paste Special, click on Unformatted Text, and you'll see why. And I'm going to format this a little bit better so that I can see it better. You'll notice that each and every line has that search, like parentheses search. and a space before that. What I want to do is copy that, and what I'm going to do is click on Edit, find and replace, paste that over, make sure that there's a space over, and leave that blank. Click on Replace All, and there we go. So now, as you can see, we've got all the keywords in a column right here. That way, if we do decide to use that specific keyword, we can just copy and paste it over without having anything else in that line. So that makes it convenient for you. So what I might do is at the bottom here is go back here, cut that, and then copy that below here so that we have that here. Unclose that, and you want to save it to whatever location you want to save it to. So what I might do is go here, create a new folder, maybe let's call it Golf Lead Generation, and we'll just call this Keyword Research, Keyword and Market Research. All right, so once we're done with that, I'm going to save it as an XLS file. And we're good to go. We've pretty much done our research. And as you can see, it was fairly easy to do. So I'm going to minimize that, close out Word Tracker and Google. Now that you have done your research, you can actually search for businesses. And now that we know that this specific niche is indeed profitable, we can invest some time and money into it. When you're searching for businesses, I would highly recommend that you use Google Local, which is basically the Google search engine, and they list the local search results for businesses. And then I advise you to go on Yahoo Local, and then Bing. There's other places that you can search for, like Yelp.com, which is where a lot of people go to and they review the place. But these are some of the sites that I would recommend. So with that said, let's go find some businesses. Now that we are sure about what niche to look into, we can find the businesses. Now, what I would recommend you use is Google's local results or search engine results for the local area. And we're going to use local.yahoo.com. And we're going to use Bing.com. So those three sites. The first thing I want to use is Google Local, which all you have to do is go to Google, click on Maps, and then I'm going to type in South Carolina in quotations so that Google knows. And then I'll type in, let's say, golf courses, golf course. There's private golf courses and golf courses. My main audience would probably be golf courses because the private golf courses probably, are private, so most likely they get their leads. So I'm going to focus on golf courses here. If I focus on golf courses, I notice that, let's see, we still have 3,143 results, which is a ton. You can see it on the map here. If I zoom out, you got South Carolina, and they got lots, especially on the edge here, and the beach here, and then in the central location, and then here. There's not a lot here and here and here. So my goal here is maybe choose a location near me. And another nice thing is if you go to this location and you click on user rating, you can find what people think about that specific golf course. Now, as we can see, Yellow Pages does provide golf courses as well. So we could use that as another avenue if we wanted to. So right now I've got 4 stars and up. I'm only listing 4 stars and up, and we've got 233 results, mainly on the side here. Some have 6 reviews, some have 81 reviews, some have 22, 112 reviews. and things like that. Now, what is my point? Well, my point is that the ones with higher reviews are probably interested in getting more people. But the people with a lot of reviews are probably people who are marketing online a lot. So I probably don't want to focus a lot on these guys. They might understand the importance of online marketing. They might have their own online marketing department, and they might, who knows? They might even want to purchase your leads. But a lot of cases, if you find the ones with less reviews, but good reviews, these people are interested in getting leads, but they might not know, how to do online marketing, how to find leads on online arenas. So as you can see here, that might be the case. Now, that's not always the case, but what I've found is that happens to sometimes be the case. And you can do your own research. For example, let's look at the Tidewater Golf Club. And as we can see here, they happen to have a lot of photos. They happen to have a website. We can actually go to the website, and it happens that their website is down for whatever reason. And that might tell me, they had a website, they don't anymore for whatever reason. So what we're doing here is really just searching for places to approach. Whether or not they are approachable or not, you will find that out later, probably. So that's a good avenue to find. Golf courses on Yellow Pages is a good place to go to as well. You can see ones that have stars. You can read reviews about them, kind of get an idea about them before you approach them, because a lot of companies, if you approach companies and you know just a little bit about them before you go there, a lot of them will kind of relate to you better. If you don't know anything about them before you get to them, then it's harder to close a deal. So now that you know how to use Google's local results or search results, you can go to local.yahoo.com. Then besides golf clubs, maybe I can search for just regular golf stores. Golf stops, golf headquarters, the golf center. And you can also see reviews here too. A lot of these places with good reviews are probably good, approachable people when you approach them. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Whether or not, if they're having great reviews, most likely they really care about their customers. They really want more leads, and they really want to help their customers. Those are the types of businesses that you want to sell your leads to, because ultimately you get to help these people and they get to help their customers, and they understand the value of a customer. Some stores just want to sell because they make money. They don't really care much about the customer, and because of that, their need for a customer isn't going to be as great. Now, that doesn't mean that because they don't have any reviews that they're good or bad. That's why I say go use Google, because Yahoo Local is highly used, but Google Local is a lot more used. So you can also use Bing.com. If I search, let's say, South Carolina, or maybe I could search South Carolina best golf courses and find some directories with that information. Now, the better the rank they are, it's possible that, like I said, they already have online marketing. They don't really want to invest into some third-party, marketing. But some of these guys might be open to that. So you don't know unless you try, which goes back to the saying, you won't know unless you approach. Okay, great. So now you know how to find businesses. You can go find businesses, create your own lists, and then start approaching them. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up the whole system now that you know what niche to look for, and now that you know what businesses approach, we can set up the squeeze page so that in videos 4, 5, and 6, then we can market and send leads to that specific lead page. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about understanding how to set up this system. The first thing you need to figure out, though, is what type of lead that you want to attract, whether that's going to be a prospect or customer-based lead. Remember, prospect leads are basically leads that fill out a form and they get something for free. So they haven't actually purchased an item or anything like that. A customer lead, however, is somebody who has purchased a product previously. So sometimes customer leads, you can charge the business a little more money because these are people who purchased. These are not people who are prospectives and are freebie seekers. These are people who actually took out their wallet, credit card, or cash and purchased something related to that business. So remember, prospect lead fills out a form, and the customer-based leads buy a product, or you can use a method of free CDs. Free CDs allow you to test whether or not a prospect will actually become a buyer or not. Because think about it, they get a free CD, but they still have to pay for the shipping. So to that customer, they're getting a free CD, but they still have to pay shipping, which can be $2.99 to $9. Now, you're not making any money from that customer. You might make a few bucks here and there. Most likely, you're not going to make that much. But it's your test to test whether or not that prospect will become a customer. Now, customer leads convert a lot more because if they purchase something similar in that niche, let's say, for example, golf, they purchase golf balls or something like a golf report, then when you approach an actual business, you can say this person actually purchased a report or a golf ball. So to them, that's a lot better because they are seen as an actual customer. And you sell back to that customer related items, golf course memberships, maybe a discount or something like that, then they're more likely to purchase something related to golf. So once you have figured out whether it's prospect lead or customer leads, you can't do both at the same time. Again, remember, you can only choose one, free or paid, prospect or customer. So pick one of those two. Then you can develop your squeeze page. Now, you are going to need some tools. As I mentioned earlier, you have a WYSIWYG editor, Dreamweaver or NVU, an autoresponder. We're going to use Aweber, web hosting and a domain name, so you need a website, a payment processor, which is optional if you choose to produce customer-based leads, and Kunaki if you do decide to use the free CD method of getting customer-based leads. Kunaki, if you don't know, is a service that develops CDs for you. And I'll show you just in a minute what that looks like. Alright, I just want to do a quick run through here. The first thing you need is a WYSIWYG tool, which is basically what you see is what you get, and that all that means is just an HTML editor. Some sort of editor that can edit and create web pages. The first thing I would recommend is probably Dreamweaver if you can afford that, Adobe Dreamweaver. And you can get there by going to adobe.com/products/Dreamweaver. Now, if you can't dish out some money to get Dreamweaver, there's another WYSIWYG HTML editor tool. And if you go to google.com and you type in NVU download, it'll forward you to net2.com. And I'll go to that page right now so you can see it. It's a free web editing system. And all you have to do is download it. Nice thing about NVU is it works on Microsoft Windows. It can work on Apple, Macs, Linux, and other systems. Some of you are familiar with a program called Composer or Composer. starts with a K. It's the same thing as NVU. So if you have that, that's fine. If you have Dreamweaver, you don't need NVU. This is just in case you don't have anything. And if you're afraid that, editing HTML pages is going to be a hard thing, don't worry about that, because NVU, if you're used to editing, doing things like word processor with Microsoft Word, this should be quite similar. So you need a WYSIWYG tool and you need an autoresponder tool. We're going to use Aweber, which you can find at aweber.com. And this is what Aweber looks like. It allows you to build a list. But for the sake of generating leads, in this case, we are going to simply use that for that purpose. So I would highly recommend that you purchase if you don't already have it, and then you can go ahead and sign in. And if you want to look at pricing, you can, but I would just start out with the basics and then move up. And this is what Aweber looks on the inside. Then you're going to need a web hosting and domain registrar. So first of all, if you don't have a domain name, a www. Whatever your domain is.com, then you need to go buy a domain name, which you can find at Namecheap.com. I'd highly recommend Namecheap. I've been with them for many, many years, since, before 2005, or actually, around 2005, 2006 time. In addition to a domain name, you're going to need web hosting. If you host many, many sites, then I would highly recommend a place called Servint.com. I would say they have the best, and I've been through many, many web hosts. I've been through well over 40, 50 since 2006, because a lot of them go down and they don't have good service. And this one's a virtual private server. It's only $49 a month, which is not bad, considering you get a lot of space, and they don't oversell, which means that your website will be up and running, it'll be fast, and it won't crash because somebody else crashed it. Now, if you want to go cheaper, HostGator.com is another avenue you can take. The only downside with HostGator is if somebody crashes the server, you have no control over it and your website goes down. That's why I highly recommend Servant.com versus HostGator, because if you're paying, 30 cents, 40 cents, or $1 to get a lead, then you can't afford your website going down. So that's web hosting right there. As far as the payment processor goes, if you build a customer, base leads, then you're going to need a payment processor, which I recommend you using PayPal, because it's the easiest to get up and running with. Then we have Kunaki, which is a CD/DVD manufacturer. All you have to do is with Kunaki is upload your files, and every time somebody gets a free DVD, all you have to do is upload their information and then click send. And then they charge you not a lot of money, as you can see. They don't charge you a lot. So I'd highly recommend that you look into those sites. Now you've seen all the tools and what you need to have and what is optional, what needs to be set up? Well, there are two routes. If you take the prospective lead and you set up a lead capture page for the prospect, then this is what is going to happen. You're going to have a traffic source, whether you use AdWords, Craigslist, or eBay, or if you use any of them. You're going to have that traffic source, and it's going to be driven, or you're going to point that traffic to a lead capture page. And then you're going to point them to an autoresponder. Because remember, prospects leads are actually the easiest to set up for in relation to lead capture pages, because all you need to do is set up the lead capture page and put your headline, put up your sales copy, and then put a button or a form at the bottom where people can grab, whether it's a free report, whether it's a free video, relating to golf or something like that. That's what we're dealing with when in relation to prospect leads. Now, when it comes to customer-based leads, it's a little different. You do have your traffic source, AdWords, Craigslist, or eBay, and that drives to a lead capture page. The only difference between prospect leads and customer-based leads is this. When they land onto your lead capture page, they will actually see a product. They're not seeing a report for free. They're seeing something that they have to buy. Now, you always want to start low, somewhere from $7 to something free. But if it's free, then like a free CD, you have to test whether they're going to buy. And that's why you charge them for shipping. And that's the way you test whether or not they are going to buy something. So they land on the lead capture page. They have a sales copy that presents them with an offer. They can buy their product, which leads them to a payment processor. In this case, we're dealing with PayPal. And an autoresponder. After the product, after they pay, they're sent to an autoresponder where they fill out their information. And that can lead them to the download page, to Kanaki, which of course Kanaki is you would get their information like their address and all that stuff. And then you would create an Excel sheet, upload it to Kanaki. They wouldn't actually see Kanaki, only you would see Kanaki. And you'd fill all that information out and they would be sent the free CD. Now you might want to look at the policy if you have a refund policy or whatever. But because it's a free CD and they're paying for shipping, it's not really anything you can refund. So you might want to put that note on the bottom of your page just to make sure. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started here and set up the lead capture page. In this setup, I'm just going to focus on the prospect lead. If you want to go into setting up a customer lead, that's fine. Just keep in mind the two options is that it needs to be presented with sales copy. At the bottom, you have a Buy It Now button, which leads to PayPal, where they buy. And when you're setting up your PayPal button, the one thing is that PayPal is going to ask you for a thank you page. Your thank you page is basically going to be your autoresponder. And then your autoresponder is going to, direct people to a download page. But just keep that in mind. That's the big difference between the prospect lead and a customer-based leads. So with that said, let's go ahead and set up our lead capture page. All right, so right now you have to have two things open. You need to open the autoresponder, which we have open right here at Aweber. So if you don't have an Aweber account, I'd highly recommend that you get one so you can start building your list. And then, of course, we need to set up the lead capture page. So what I'm going to do is go to my computer. And what I need to do is basically just create an index.html file. So that's my lead capture page. So I'm going to find a folder here. Let's say we'll put new folder lead capture page. Okay, so what I need to do is right click. If you right click in the white space, click on new and then click on text document. And I'm just going to erase everything in there. I'm going to call it index.html. So that's index.html. Press that enter, click on yes, and there we go. What I'm going to do is right click on here, open with NVU, and you can go to NVU and do the same thing and reverse it by creating an index.html page. But you just need to make sure that it is index.html. So open with NVU, and this is what NVU looks like. So right now it's just a blank page, and what your goal needs to be is to create a lead capture page. The first thing I want you to do is at the top, click on Insert Table, and just create one cell. Within that cell, I want you to click inside it, and then right click inside that cell or that table, click on Table Cell Properties, click on Table, and then as far as width goes, we want it to be around 600. We're from 650 to 700, so I'm going to put 650. And as you can see behind the scenes, it's creating the table. And I'm going to put the border as 0, spacing 10, and padding 10. And you'll see what that does. So now you can see that you don't see the border, which looks a little more professional. I want the table to be centered, so I'm going to click on center, then change the background color to white, press OK, click on apply, and there we go. So if you want to increase the width, you can set it to 700. As you saw, that gets bigger. Go ahead and press OK, and our lead capture page is going to be within this box. You can change the background if you want to. You just got to click on Format, Page Colors and Backgrounds, use custom colors, and then change the background, to something like this. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on this as far as sales copy goes, but if you study just basic sales copy, you know that there's a headline that grabs the user's attention. If your headline does not grab the user's attention when they first see your lead capture page, they're going to leave. It's just like you're reading a newspaper and you see a headline. If the headline grabs their attention, most likely it will get them to read further down the page. So normally headlines are, say something like discover how to finally blank and blank. So I could say something like discover how to finally increase your golf swing and speed with this free report. Or I could say something like free report, because people like the word free since we're doing prospect leads. Free report shows you how to finally or to increase your golf swing and speed. So you could say something like that. You could add other psychological triggers to that if you want, but the headline is very important, so you want to focus on that. You can have a subheadline, for example, free report. This 10-page report, you could say grab this 10-page report, which you can start reading in less than 10 minutes. So your whole goal with the subheadline is to support the headline. In this case, we're telling the reader that the page or the report is only 10 pages. So to them, they're thinking, okay, well, that's not a lot of time. It only takes me less than 10 minutes to read. I can go ahead and submit my information. So you want the headline, you want the subheadline, and you want to say something like, Dear fellow golfer, and then start listing out, the problems that they face, problem question, are you losing time, or are you sick and tired of seeing your golf balls go into the sand pits, things like that. So you got a problem question, maybe a couple of those, maybe 3 or 4. And then actually before that you need an introduction, so put an introduction. And you only want this to be about 2 to 3 paragraphs, or even sentences for that matter. And you want to refer to some facts. Facts that might be problematic facts. Problem question, and then you can say something. If you said yes to any of these questions, read on, kind of thing. Then from that point on, you can say something like list out, introduce, saying golfer, whatever the title of the report is going to be. So introducing blank title. In this 10-page report, which you can read in less than 10 minutes, you will learn how to increase your golf swing, basically benefits. You want to at least have 5 benefits or more, because people are going to buy into the problems, and then people are going to buy into the benefits because that's what benefits them. They really don't care much about you because, a lot of people tend to make the mistake of writing about themselves because most of the people are going to ask, what's in it for me? So that's what your prospects are going to ask. So right below this, you're going to put a link to your autoresponder. You can say something like, grab your free report today while it's free. And that might tell the person that, oh, it could become a report that's has a certain value to it. So I might as well grab it right now. So you have a link, and I'm going to put that in red just because it's important. So there we go. We're done with our lead capture page. You can hire anybody to, create graphics for you if you want. You can create graphics, a header, footer, whatever. But the main point of this is basically you need a lead capture page that links to your autoresponder. Now what do? Well, if you go to Aweber, you need to create your list. So create a new list by clicking this link. And the Aweber provides you with lots and lots of information on how to set up your list, how to set up your messages and things like that. Our main goal is this. We want to set up a message, one message, and then we want to set up a web form so that we can put that web form onto this area here. How do we do that? Well, once you create your new list, you follow all the directions that Aweber shows you, then we can create our first follow-up message. In this example, I'm just going to choose one of my lists here. Let's say dog niches. And let's just pretend that has to do with golf. What I want to do is add a new follow-up message. What a follow-up message is this. When somebody comes to do your lead capture page, at the bottom it's going to say, put your name and put your email address, or put your first name and last name and your email address. We're not worried about the form right now because we can do that later. Once they fill out that information, they're going to receive an email asking them to confirm that they are the real person. Once they actually confirm that they are the real person, they're going to receive a message. Now, that message is this message here. So you can say something, download your free golfer report, whatever the title is. Then in your text, you want to say something like from your name. Dear so-and-so. You can personalize this email by saying dear and then clicking personalize and click on first name. This way, when somebody fills out the first name form, they're actually going to see their first name. It happens, my name's Steven, so it'll say Dear Steven. But you won't see it here just because it's not customized. So it says, Dear so-and-so, thank you for grabbing your free report on the golfer's magic swing. Whatever your title is, some funky name. Magic Swing 5000 or something. I don't know. Anyways, once you do that, you can say download this free report at www.whatever golfer magic swing 5000.com is, basically wherever your free report is located, blah blah blah.html. Thanks, your name. Once you do that, you just click on save, and we're done with that, right? Once you create your follow-up message, the next thing you need to do is create your web form. So now before that, I could test it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to test it. Just going to go to click on web form, click a create web form, and there we go. The cool thing is you can make your own. As you can see, it's very interesting. You can create your own templates. You've got corporate templates and download. Now, because I have a free report that they can download, that's convenient for me. So I'm just going to click on this. You know, you can change colors if you want. I'm going to say, you know, blue converts well. That's probably the easiest. So I'm going to click on load template. You can create new fields if you want, because by default it's just name and email. Let's say that when you're generating leads, you need more information. You need their name, their address, you know, things like that. Now the person is going to wonder why you need their address. And you do need to say on your "we respect your privacy," you need to edit that, you know, and say something like, you know, something different, because you got to remember, if you sell these leads, if you sell it to one person, that's fine, because you can create this website for that one person. But if you sell that lead, you can't say we're only going to use, you know, your email address one time and that's it. You have to say something different in terms of legal, you know, things. So you gotta change that just to make sure. One thing to note here is that if you try to get their, you know, name, address, and things like that, it's probably better if you go the route and you give them a free CD. That way there is a reason why you get their address. But if you're only getting, you know, name, phone number, and email, then that's good enough, then so be it. So maybe we could put phone number. Click OK. And that's a text area. Make that required. And look at that. I can move that up and down. Let's say name comes first. And let's say that phone number comes in the middle. I can resize that if I want. I can make that wider for people with long names or long email addresses, or I can make it really thin. Probably want to make it wide enough for them to, you know, put their name in. You can test it out too if you like. Once you're done, click on OK. You can change the fonts if you want to, but I'll just leave it like it is. And I'm going to click on Save Web Form. Go to step 2. And I'm going to leave everything like it is. Click Save Web Form. And that's it. There's two choices here. It says, I will install my form. You're comfortable with HTML and you have access to edit your pages. Or my web designer will install the form. Send an email to your web designer. In this case, you are the web designer, so you are going to install the form on your own site. All you need to do is get the JavaScript code. So just highlight that. Right click, copy. And then we're going to replace this with that code. Now you can't do that on the front page on this normal view. What I like to do is just say something like 123123, go to the source code and just find that 123123, highlight that exact word, right click and paste, and that's it. You're good to go. If I exit that and I go back to my lead capture page here and I right click, open with some sort of internet browser, it can be Firefox, it can be Google Chrome, and it can be Internet Explorer. I use Google Chrome, so that's just how it is. So as you can see here, I can actually see the form. So I put my name, Stephen Luke, put the phone number, you know, 111-111-11111. And then I put my email, click submit, and basically all I have to do is click that link to activate it, and then I will get the email and all that information. So that's pretty much it. You've set up your lead capture page, you set up your code for your form, and you're good to go. So we see, from your name, dear Stephen, thank you for grabbing your free report on Golfer's Magic Swing 5000. Remember that we made this right here? That's pretty much all you have to do. And you're good to go. You can do the same thing to the customer base or customer leads, but you just have to add on a PayPal button. Make sure your thank you page links to just the autoresponder. Okay, so in this particular video, we're going to show you how to get local leads by using Google AdWords region targeting feature. Now, if you don't know what Google AdWords is, I'm sure you have heard of it before, but basically, if you go to Google and you type in a keyword, you're going to see some ads on the right side as well as on the top. Those are basically Google AdWords ads. And what advertisers will do is they will bid on a specific keyword. So let's say, for example, that I bid on the keyword, something that says maybe how to improve your golf swing. If I bid on that keyword and somebody clicks on that keyword when they're viewing, Google search, then I get charged maybe 10 cents, 27 cents, or whatever. Whatever I bid, I have to pay, only if you click on it. Now, in relation to Google AdWords, we're talking about region targeting. The special thing about region targeting is if somebody, let's say I am targeting everybody in South Carolina, anybody that types, Google, how to improve your golf swing or whatever keyword I bid on in South Carolina, they see my ad. If they're not in South Carolina, then they don't see my ad, and I don't have to pay. Let's say, for example, if somebody was searching that exact phrase from North Carolina, they would not see that ad. Now, if I was specifically focusing on a specific area of South Carolina, for example, Myrtle Beach, if I did that and the offline business I was selling leads to was in Myrtle Beach, then that would make sense. I can do the same thing with Craigslist, but I can't do that with eBay classified ads. So with Google AdWords, as you can see here, we've got traffic source, which is Google AdWords, region targeting. Somebody clicks on the ad, they land on lead capture page. The only thing you have to make sure of is that the lead capture page has the exact same keywords that the person is typing in to Google. Otherwise, your conversion rate is not going to be as high. It's just like, for example, Nike shoes. Somebody types in black, let's say black basketball or black Nike basketball shoes. If they type that in and they get to the lead capture page and you're selling white or who knows, green or purple basketball or Nike basketball shoes, then they're just going to exit because they were specifically searching for black Nike basketball shoes. So you want to make sure that the keywords that you bid on are the same keywords that are located in that lead capture page. That's a big one. People mess that up all the time. All right, so now that you understand the concepts, the first thing you need to do is create a Google AdWords account. If you have a Gmail account, then you can use that as your Google AdWords account. If you don't have that, you need to go ahead and create that. Second thing, once you create your Google AdWords account, you need to set up your billing. Because Google, if your billing's not set up, then Google will not allow you to run your ad. And you might get Google slapped that way. Third, you need to figure out what keywords that you want to bid on. It's okay if you have one or two. start out with 1 and 2. That's fine. I would try to get the top 10 keywords and bid on them and make sure that the lead capture page had those keywords in it. So whether that means creating a new campaign for every single capture page, then you'll have to do that. But I find that you get better conversion rates if you target that specific keyword and it's located in the lead capture page. So if you set up only 10 keywords and the keywords are in those lead capture pages, or you create a new lead capture page for that keyword, then so be it. Fourth, you need to write your AdWords ad. And then the fifth, you need to have your lead capture page. It's got to be live before you actually start driving traffic. So for videos 1, 2, and 3, you have to have all those things done before you move to 4, 5, and 6. Because 4, 5, and 6, you're going to learn how to drive traffic to your lead capture page. It's fine if you're viewing this video and you're going to do it later, but I just want to let you know and keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so right now I have my spreadsheet open, and all I need to do is basically choose one of these keywords that might relate somewhat to my report. So remember, we use this proper way to swing a golf club. So I'm going to copy that over, make a new notepad and just copy that over. And I'm just going to use that keyword and that's it. What I want to do is make sure that my lead capture page has the same keyword. And as of now, I've completed my lead capture page. So I can go ahead and go to Google AdWords. And what you need to do is click Create New Campaign. And you need to name the campaign. And then what I normally would do would not choose from any of one of these. I would select one or more locations. Now it happens that by default my account chooses United States and Canada. I don't want to reach out to the whole Canada or United States, so I'm going to remove all, and I'm going to specifically choose by going to United States, clicking this, and actually I'm going to go over here to custom. Custom allows you to search specifically a specific location. For example, 90210, that's in New York, a specific location. And the nice thing about Google's AdWords region targeting feature is it allows you to pick a location. And let's say, for example, it's an offline business, it's a pizza place or a golf store, and you only want to find people within a 20-mile radius of that store. So what you would normally do is you would find the address, you type it in here. So maybe I could choose, let's say, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I want to view that on the map first. And I do want to zoom in a little bit so I can see. Let's say, for example, that the store is not over here, but it's somewhere here. Say here. And I only want to reach a 20-mile radius, or even 5 mile for that matter, around that. So you can see that's 5 miles around. So I could approach the offline business owner and say, hey, I've got people within 5 mile or 20-mile radius around your store who might be interested in your product. Now keep in mind that you do need to do research with Google Trends to make sure that location is a hot selling, or a lot of people are typing in the keywords, otherwise you're not going to get leads. So that's why I say choose a spot where there's a lot of leads, a lot of people going on Google and searching for that specific keyword term from that location. And then let's say that I wanted to find more people. I can move this down here somewhere. Maybe we'll move it down to Charleston. I said maybe a 30-mile radius. Then all I have to do that is Once I'm done with that, I can add it, as you can see here, and click save. And then I complete the rest of the campaign by entering the keywords and the Google ads and the daily budget, as you can see. Now, as far as networks goes, I would only do it to the Google search network. I would not do the content network. So you need to choose the language, choose the network, make sure that it is only on the Google search, because that allows you to target that specific person who is going to Google and typing in that exact phrase. Once you're done with that, you can enter your budget. I would say $10 to $20 per day minimum, probably about $10 just to test it. If it's doing well, then you can move that budget up. But I mean, if you're making money with the leads and all that, really you shouldn't have to have a budget as long as there's money flowing in. If there's not money flowing in, then I would, yes, put a budget. Once you're done with that, you can save and continue. Now you can put your ad group, and you put your headline, your description line, and your display URL. So this is basically your ad, and it's going to look something like this. Once you're done with that, then you can put the keywords in there, which is this keyword here. And as far as specifics go, I would put an exact keyword phrase. So I put brackets right around that. And after that, I would save the ad group, and that's it. As you can see, it's very, very easy to do. Just make sure that the destination URL here is the lead capture page URL. In this specific video, you're going to learn how to get local leads by using Craigslist. So I've created a quick step-by-step process. Craigslist is a lot easier than Google AdWords or anything else. All you have to do is basically, first of all, make sure that your traffic source is pointed to your lead capture page. What do I mean by that? Basically, Craigslist, when you post your ad, you got to make sure that you're driving traffic directly to your lead capture page, because you want to capture the leads. A lot of people on Craigslist tend to post an item to sell, and that's fine. You might not have a physical item to sell. You might be able to approach an offline business and say, hey, give me 10 of this item and I'll give it away for free. People just have to maybe buy it, and then I'll give you the leads for this much. Or you can buy your own golf balls or things like that, and maybe you have to invest $1 or $2 per person, or a few dollars, $10, $20, whatever per person, but you just got to realize that each one of these leads you can sell for twice as much or 3 times as much. So just keep that in mind. So first of all, you need to go to Craigslist and find your city, and we'll do that in just a minute. But I want to show you the whole process before we actually do it. Once you go to Craigslist and you find your city, what I want you to do next is to observe your competition. Your competition might be your competition. However, they will help you in the sense that you can view what they have already done. View what they've already done. If somebody's posting constantly, that means it's probably working for them. Then next, you can use something like coupon marketing. You can tell people, go to this lead capture page. Of course, you're not going to use the word lead capture page, but you can say, go to this page, put your name and your email address, and you get a unique coupon for this offline store. And the reason why I do that and I say that is because you have to track your leads. You can't say, hey, okay, I'm going to give you a coupon. It's unique. Only the, maybe only the offline store knows that I, own that coupon. That unique coupon is directed and pointed at me. So, but the thing is, you want to track, because you don't know this offline store as much. They could be honest, they could track all the unique coupons And most likely they would be honest because they're relying on you for good, continuous leads. So you could take that, or if you wanted to track it, which would be the best case because you want to know if something's working or not, you could use that avenue. Have them sign up, first name, email address, or first name, last name, email address. Give them the unique coupon in the follow-up message, and then that way you can track. That way you know how many people are coming to the lead capture page and how many people are actually converting. So if you need to change your sales copy, if that's necessary, then go ahead and do it. And that's just one technique there that I found works well. If you go on Craigslist, you'll find lots and lots of people saying, hey, if you mention Craigslist, you get 50% off, or you get 30% off, or whatever percent off on a specific service or a specific product. Of course, a physical product, you're not going to see that much. You're probably going to see 10% or maybe $10 off, $20 off, depending on the service or the product. But you can't do that, especially when you're getting leads and you're selling those leads. You have to keep track of those leads. So this would be a good way of doing that. Now, third, once you've found your city, you've observed your competition, you've used specific marketing tactics like coupon marketing, and third, you need to post your ad. So let's go ahead and go to Craigslist right now and do all of that, what we have talked about. Right now, I am located at Craigslist.org, and if you go there, you will see pretty much the United States, Canada, Asia, America, Europe, and international cities. So I don't know where you are and whether you're in Asia, whether you're in the United States or Canada or whatever. But what I want you to do is choose your specific location. Now, I happen to be located in South Carolina, in the United States, so that's what I'm going to click. And then I'll click Myrtle Beach because that's pretty much where I want to focus on with the golf courses and things like that. Once I am at Myrtle Beach, so I've done step one. Step two is to observe your competition. So what I'm going to do is go search Craigslist. There's many things you can search. You can search the community, events, gigs, housing, jobs, personals, resumes, for sale, and services. Now, the question is, what do I want to search for? Well, when you're observing your competition, you actually want to do for sale or services. The first thing I would do would search for the for sale, and I would just type in a general keyword. In this case would be golf. So as I can see here, I see 375 that are displaying right now. We can see December 1st. Today is December 1st. Yesterday was December 3rd, and this is pretty much this week. So I can see that it's not totally saturated, which in a way that's a good thing. But I can see there is a lot of listings, which in a way is a good thing as well. And because I've already done my research like Google Trends, I know that North Myrtle Beach is one of the hot spots when it comes to golf courses and golf. So as I'm going through here, I'm just going to open them up. And I'm going to search for Myrtle Beach. Basically, I only want Myrtle Beach. Okay, so just by looking at all of this, I can see that a lot of people are just mainly selling golf clubs, and golf clubs. Now, I want to show you this because I want you to see what a good ad looks like. This is not really an example of a great ad because, it's just a bag and doesn't have a very good description of it. Now, a picture is better than nothing. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So you definitely want to have some sort of pictures on your ad. Now, if you are promoting an offline business, then it might be good if you find what people are buying, which obviously here it would be bags. You could approach somebody like a golf store, for example, and say something like, how about we work out a deal? You give me $10 off coupons, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send people to an autoresponder where they can, get the coupon. Because you got to remember, people go to Craigslist because they want something cheap. They want a big discount. So if they go there and they realize that the store owner is giving a discount that maybe they're not providing elsewhere, but they're providing on Craigslist, then most likely somebody might take on, that discount. Posting an ad on Craigslist can be time consuming. However, keep in mind that you can get some good traffic from it. So what you need to do is post, and you need to choose a category. So if you don't know what category you want to put into, I would recommend seeing what these categories are, which a lot of them put it into sporting goods. So for the sake of maybe focusing on discounts for irons and golf clubs and things like that, I would choose specifically sporting goods. And that's why I say observe your competition first before you actually post your ad. Because if you do that, you can see what people are doing, seeing what is actually working for them. So observe your competition, see the categories, the most posted categories, and post to those categories. And maybe even post to categories that may not be highly posted to. But the whole idea here is just to go to Craigslist and find your specific city. And just go ahead and post your ad. Make sure you have a picture, maybe of the offline store. Try to make a deal with the offline store for a coupon, and then put that into your autoresponder. Don't give the coupon right away. Give the coupon only if somebody signs up onto your autoresponder. So in this particular video, we're going to deal with market-specific leads. And we're going to deal specifically with eBay classified ads. Now, in the previous videos, video 4 and 5, we dealt with local leads. Local leads meaning the local area. But with eBay classified ads, you really can't focus into the local area. So if you're only doing offline leads, you can skip this video. But if your intention is maybe an offline lead that has an online component where they're selling some sort of info product, if that's the case, they have a website, you could even offer them that. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is give you an overview of what I'll be discussing in this particular video, and then we'll go over to eBay and I'll show you how to do everything. And just like the other videos, I want to make sure that you understand that you need to direct the eBay classified ads traffic to your lead capture page. So the first thing you need to do is do an advanced search. I'll show you what that is in just a minute. Second of all, you need to sell an item. The first step basically allows you to do your proper research so that you know whether a niche allows classified ads or not. Because eBay classified ads basically lists in the same categories as eBay auctions. So if somebody searches for a specific keyword, they'll see both classified ads and eBay auctions. But at the same time, you need to know which niches provide that. Some niches do not provide classified ads. So when you get to selling your item, if you do the second step first, then you'll waste a lot of time. So the second step would be selling an item. Third step would be to make sure that you use keywords in your title, your subtitle, and in your description. Subtitle does cost a little extra, a few cents, I believe 50 cents or more. But it is well worth it, because think about it. If somebody is searching for a specific keyword, you can only put so many keywords in your title and in your subtitle. So having a subtitle allows you to target and reach more eBay classified ads searchers or even eBay auction searchers. If somebody is searching for a specific item and they don't see any actual eBay auction for that specific keyword, that right there is a gold mine, because if you have an eBay classified ad, you can drive them directly from eBay to your website, or in this case, your lead capture page. Then the fourth step, of course, is to choose your classified ad format. Make sure that the ad is being used as a classified ad, because eBay auctions, there's a lot of limitations. If you're selling an info product, eBay auctions does not allow you to sell an info product unless you put it onto a CD. However, that rule does not apply to eBay classified ads. Now that's the big thing. So if you are selling an info product that is digitally downloadable from your website, then eBay classified ads would be the way to go. So with that said, now you understand the processes and the steps that are involved, we can go ahead and do exactly that. So the first thing we want to do is go to eBay. Okay, so step one, we need to go to the advanced search just to make sure that eBay allows classified ads for the golf niche. So what I have to do is click on advanced search, and I would recommend that you go log in as well. But you can do that later on if you want. You just need to make sure that you log in before you actually sell an item. So if I click on advanced search, what I want to do is scroll all the way down, make sure that I click or check this box right here. That's the only box that I need to make sure that I check, because my goal here is to check whether or not there are classified ads for golf products. So maybe I could type in golf as a general keyword. Click on search. People have classified ads and they are selling golf carts, golf cart batteries, golf carts. Now, if you weren't selling, if you had a report, for example, or a free golf ebook, then maybe you could type in golf ebook just to see what you're up against. Golf CD, golf DVD, and there's about 59 products. So we're not really up against a whole lot of people. All right, so with that said, what I'm going to do is, say, go back here so I can see my classified ads, or the other classified ads. And I notice that this person is selling an ebook or book. I don't know. I'm going to click on this ad and just view it. Guaranteed to cut 7 strokes from your score. As you can see, this person is doing this pretty much what I would want to do. He is providing a free report. So you can see he's using Aweber, just as you can see. You put your name, your email address to get that report. But what I want to make sure is to understand that, okay, it's in the everything else, information products, other category. What I'm going to do is keep this open and click on sell an item, and I'm going to open this into a new tab. And I'm going to click start selling. And remember the category here. I can browse categories, and it's in the everything else, information products. And how-to guides. Great. That's exactly what I want. Self-help would probably be the best, or I could put other. But most likely I'll just put self-help. And once I'm done with that, I can click continue. And I want to scroll down here just to make sure that it does allow classified ads. And there we go. We can see that for classified ads, you can post it for 30 days for only $10. That's not bad. Or if you, let's say that you find that it does work, you can have it good till canceled. You can renew it over and over again for $10. just when you start out, I would recommend starting small, not investing too much money until you know that it actually works. So I'm going to pick that, leave that blank, scroll back up here, put the title, put the subtitle, put a picture. I'd highly recommend a picture if you can. Describe the item that you're selling, and subtitle is $1.50, but like I said, it's well worth it. I would highly advise that you, in the title, just put keywords. It doesn't have to make sense, just put keywords. But with this title, you want it to make sense. That way you can just attract people who are typing in a certain keyword. If you put finally how to learn blah blah blah, then you're not going to be able to target those specific people. Because if you just put the keywords in the title, it doesn't have to make grammatical sense. When you have a greater chance of reaching somebody who is searching for a specific item on golfing. So just make sure you fill in title, subtitle, picture, description, and everything else. And of course, lead it to the autoresponder page, lead capture page, if you can, or if you want to do just like what this person is doing here, start the classified ad at a penny because nobody's really bidding on anything, and just put the HTML code into here. And as you can see, this person is pretty much following the same exact pattern that we're recommending that you do as far as the lead capture page goes. He has the headline, subheadline, the paragraph, he has the problem questions, a little paragraph, call to action, and here a call to action, and where they can actually fill in this right here. So this would be a great way to get market-specific prospective leads. If you want to get customer-based leads by using eBay, you're just going to have to take the route of posting an actual eBay auction. And of course, maybe charging, 1 penny. And as far as shipping goes, you can charge $2.99. Your whole goal is to figure out whether or not that person will buy or not. So now you know how to drive traffic by using Google AdWords, using Craigslist, eBay classified ads, and perhaps even eBay auctions if you choose to get a customer-based lead. Now you know these 3 marketing methods. You can drive the traffic to the lead capture page, capture the lead, gather the leads, and then approach the business owner and sell them to them. Now, keep in mind that you're probably only going to get 10 or 20 the first week. That's not guaranteed. But as you begin to build more lead capture pages and more Google AdWords ads, you'll get a lot more. And then you can approach more businesses. But keep in mind that you always want to start small. Don't invest too much. Don't invest too much time or too much money. Test it out first. If it does well, then you can invest more money and invest more time later on. And that's a smart way of running your business. So congratulations, you're done with this video series, and you can get started and start implementing these systems into your business. And good luck and to your success.